Temos outra pessoa e esta pessoa foi aquele que aos 19 anos me levou com calculadoras e me mostrou o que era visitar 50 ou 60 empresas durante o dia. E não sei se alguns de vocês alguma vez fizeram isso, mas levamos com muitos nãos. Com muitos nãos. E ele era super simpático com cada pessoa com quem falava. Ele dizia, have a nice day, have a nice day. Eu próprio queria defendê-lo. E ele disse, não, as pessoas são assim, não te preocupes, vamos ao seguinte. E ele ensinou-me como lidar com pessoas logo ali na primeira parte. Vocês estão cómodos a ouvir em inglês, só em inglês? No problem? Quem é que aqui não fala inglês? Ponha só a mão no ar. Oh, uau, muito poucas pessoas. Ótimo. Depois, se for necessário, a gente traduz. Vamos dar uma salva de palmas ao meu instrutor, ao meu líder, ao meu mentor, que 36 anos juntos, Jeff Brant. We're here.
I'm here.
We're here. Thank you. Thank you. They're all yours.
Okay, I know it's afternoon, but all I know how to say is good morning. Bom dia, el dia! Okay, so it's been a while since I've spoke in front of so many people. You're not going to interpret? Where'd he go? Everybody understand? Okay, so I'm a little nervous. And I've been doing sales and sales management for 40 years, so I have a little technique to loosen you up before you do a presentation or sales. Would anybody like to learn it? You want to learn it? Yeah. It's really helpful. Okay, if you don't mind, if everybody could stand up. You're going to need 2 hands. This is very serious stuff here. It helped me through many, many presentations in large cities, big companies in Manhattan, LA. So before I would go in and do the sales call, I would do this. I feel great. Ooh, I feel great. Ooh, Come on. I feel great. Ooh, I feel great. Ooh, I feel great. Ooh, I feel great. Hey. Isn't that good? $1 million deals, whatever. You got to have fun, right? So I was sitting in an airport, Chicago airport, waiting for a connecting flight to LA. I had a meeting there. And this guy at the other gate, he's staring at me. Who's this guy? And I look over. He looks like me. Extremely good looking. No, just kidding. No, he's overweight, a little bit like me. No hair, like me. But he's younger. He's like 35, 40. I don't know the guy. I don't recognize him. But he keeps staring at me. So sure enough, after a while, he comes marching over. JB, is that you? Is that you, JB? Now, somewhere 30 years ago, my name's Jeff Brant, but someone called me JB. That was it. For the rest of my career, everybody, JB, JB. He goes, is that you, JB? I go, yeah. He goes, do you recognize me? My name's so-and-so, and I worked in your Chicago office 20 years ago. Now, I've trained thousands of sales reps, hundreds of sales managers in every major city in the United States. So, I didn't recognize him. He goes, yeah, I had to come over and thank you because that one thing you taught me, that one thing changed my life. Okay? He goes, that one thing, I found my soulmate. You see, when I came into your office, And you taught me that one thing. I was a college graduate and I was a shy guy. I was nervous. I was afraid to talk to girls. I was afraid of rejection. And you taught me that one thing. Man, look at me. I'm like you. I'm an average guy. My wife's a 10. I did great. And now she's the mother of my 2 children. And also, I'm not in sales anymore, Jeff. But I use that one thing in my business decisions. And now the vice president of my company. I said, wow. Well, he had to go on to his flight. I had to go on to mine. Again, in Toronto, Canada. Same thing. I'm in a restaurant in Toronto. Guy comes whipping over. Is that you, JB? Is that you? I go, yeah. He goes, do you recognize me? I worked in your office 15 years ago in Toronto for the summer. I came in as a student. And because of that one thing you taught me, I run my own business now. You see, Jeff, when I came in for that summer job, I just was looking for a summer job. But you taught me that one thing. When I left your company, I went to another sales company. And I went door to door selling window blinds. You know, like window treatments? You know what I mean? Like curtains and blinds. And he says, I became the #1 salesman because of that one thing you taught me. And he says, it gave me the confidence to start my own business. I would go out during the day and I would sell the blinds and the window treatments. And my mother and I would make the blinds in the garage. We would make the curtains in the garage. And then, because of that one thing you taught me, I was able to train other sales reps. You see, Jeff, when I came to your office, I was just there for the summer. My family are factory workers. I was going to be a factory worker. Because of what you taught me, I have 20 sales reps working for me and 100 people in my factory. I own the factory. My parents work for me. Does anybody want to know what that one thing is? Put up your hand if you'd like to know what that one is. Thank you. Well, it's not taught in college. It's not taught in university. But you can learn it doing sales. And that one thing is the law of averages. The sales guys are clapping. Yeah, law of averages. And some people, I mean, very simply, the more sales calls you do, the higher probability you'll get a sale. The more doors you knock on, the higher probability you'll get a sale. And some people look at it like a math equation. Okay, if I do 100 sales calls and I sell 10 of those places, that's 1 in 10, that's 10%, and they get all excited about the math equation. To me, it's much more powerful than that. To me, it should be called the law of building confidence, because that's what it does. It teaches you how to build your confidence. And every successful salesperson learns the law of averages. Would you like to hear my story? Put up your hand. Anybody? Okay, I'll tell you how I learned it. 40 years ago, I had hair and a lot less stomach. And I had just graduated college because they told me to go to college. Everybody told me. My parents told me. Everybody said, you got to go to college. You got to get a degree. And then what you have to do is you have to get a corporate job. So I did. I got an entry-level corporate job. Has anybody ever had one of those? Entry-level? It's also entry-level pay. Not very good. As a matter of fact, the pay was really low. When I looked at my check, I looked at the gross income. I said, this is not gross, this is ridiculous. And it was boring, the job. And the people around me were bored. And they didn't seem too excited about their future. So I quit that job. And everybody's like, oh, you quit that big company? Are you crazy? You should stay there. And then they said, whatever you do, don't go into sales. Sales is bad. Those salespeople, they'll scam you. They're pushy. Don't do sales. So what did I do? I did sales. My first sales job, and this is how I learned the law of averages, was selling pictures. You know what I mean? Pictures like artwork to hang on the wall. So imagine me, I got a big bag of pictures, artwork, and I'm going business to business in Toronto, Canada. And I'm going into the business, do you want to buy pictures for your company? Do you want to buy pictures for your home to hang on the wall? What a crazy job, right? And it was 100% commission. And I was worried. And you had to do 100 doors. You had to hit 100 businesses a day. And it broke down to 3 responses. And I think this is true of any sales. The numbers change depending on what you're selling and what you're doing, but there's basically 3 responses. The first response is no. No, we're not interested. No, get out of here. No, I like you, but we're not interested. Goodbye. No, we already have some. No, we don't need any. No. You can't sell the no's. They're no's. And what I was doing at that time, 90% of the doors were no's. 90 out of 100 were no. Get out of here. The second response, maybe. Maybe. Now, these are possibles, but you got to be good. You got to be perfect. Your pitch has got to be good. You got to connect with the people. You got to tell a good story. You got to be perfect. And maybe you got a shot at the maybes. And that was about 8% of the doors, 8 out of 100. And the last were the easy sales. Oh, we were waiting for you. Come on in. We'll take 4. We'll take 10. We'll buy some for home. Those are the easy sales. But that was only 2%. 2 out of 100. So I'm like, how the heck am I going to do this? I'm a young guy. I got no experience. Everybody told me don't do sales, so I have 0 sales experience. I don't know what to do. They said, don't worry. We have the 5 steps to the sale. Oh, well, what's that? Introduction. Hi, how you doing? Break the ice. Short story. Why are you here? What are you doing? Presentation. Here's my pictures. Sell them, close, and rehash. Sell them some more. Now you do that. Do 100 doors, and the law of averages will take care of you. So I'm thinking, I'm not very good at this. Instead of doing 100 doors, I'm going to do 120 doors. And then for sure, I'll do sales. I go out my first day, and I work hard. I do 120 doors. And I come back to the office and I do 0. Okay, I'm brand new. Maybe I'm doing, I just got to learn. So you know what? Tomorrow, I'm going to do 150 doors. So I go out the next day, and I work hard, and I go out there, and I come back, and I do 150 doors, and I do 0. What's going on? I guess the sales thing is not for me. I don't know. So I look around the office, and I see the top guy. And I go over to that top guy, and I say, hey, I'm outworking everybody here. I did 120 doors. I did 150 doors. What am I doing wrong? He says, how's your attitude? I go, what do you mean, how's my attitude? He goes, how's your attitude? Well, I said, to be honest with you, I'm worried about sales. I'm worried about commission. I'm worried if I'm ever going to make any money. I might not make a sale for the rest of my life. I'm worried. So you know what he said to me? You know what his advice was? Quit. Quit. Go back to your regular job. I just quit the regular job. I don't want to go back there. He says then, pick a timeline. Pick a goal. How much time do you want to invest? A month? 2 months? Pick a goal. And then stop worrying. Accept the worst case scenario. What's the worst that can happen? Is anybody going to die? No. You won't have any money, and you'll have to go on to the next thing. That's the worst. Can you accept that? Yeah, I could give it a month. Okay, good. Oh, that's a weight off my shoulder. Oh, okay, I got this. What else you worried about? I got to be honest with you. I'm worried about them no's. That's a lot. No, get out of here. No soliciting. No, 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 no. He says you got to have fun with the no's. I go, what do you mean? He says 90% of your day is no's. You got to learn to have fun. And here's the advice. Don't spend time with negative people. Spend time with positive people. And you will find the essence.
How do we know they're positive? I have family that I love. How do I know they're being negative?
I'm out in the field selling. I'm not talking to your family.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot.
So now I go out the next day, and I work hard. I do 120 doors. I got a great attitude. I have fun with the people. And I come back to the office, and I do 0.
You never let me do 0.
You did 0, George. Don't kid yourself. I come back, I do 0. But I was close. I had a couple really close because I had a good attitude. There were some that were really close. So I go to the top guy and I say, top guy, can you be my mentor?
Shadow.
Can you teach me? Can I go over what people said and then you tell me what to say and I'll go out and do it the next day? Can you teach me? Can you practice with me? He said, sure. So we practiced the lines and we practiced what to say. And we practiced the next morning, and I went out the next day and I did 120 calls and I had a good attitude. And I had those new lines, and I did 1. Yay! And it's pretty exciting. I don't know who's in sales in this room. Put up your hand if you've done sales. You get your first sale. It's pretty exciting.
But I haven't made any money in 3 days.
We already went over that, George. So now, So now, a couple days go by, and I'm starting to get it. Now, in this situation, 5, 6 sales is a good day, a really good day, and 1 or 2 is average. And I start to do, 1 or 2 sales a day. Because I'm working hard. I'm working harder than everybody else. So I go up to the guys in the office, and they ask me, they go, how many doors did you do today? I said, I did 120. They go, I did 50. I did 2 sales. I did as much as you. I worked half as hard. Oh, boy. I guess I'm not that good. But then a month goes by, and a funny thing happened. Funny thing happened.
Hard work pays off?
I started to get good. Because I would go out during the day, I was working harder than the other guy. I would take those experiences back at night, practice with my mentor, and pretty soon I passed everybody by in that office. I became the number 1 salesperson, never sold a thing in my life.
You got to go to questions.
So the guy in Chicago, the law of averages is that system I just explained. The guy in Chicago used that system to find his soulmate. The guy in Toronto used that same system and took it 1 step further. Not only did he learn to make money himself, to be good himself, but he trained 20 other sales reps and built a multi-million-dollar business.
I learned it too.
And George learned it too. So, you can apply this to anything. You want a better job? Well, let's talk about that. I want a better job in 2020. I want to make more money in 2020. I want a better career in 2020. Okay. Don't go to 10 companies. Go to 100. Have a great attitude. Don't go to the first 10, get rejected, and give up. Give yourself a timeline. Give yourself a year to get that dream job, that dream career. Get a mentor. Somebody out there who can help you know how to do interviews. So when you come off of that 99th interview, and you've been going to the mentor every interview and saying, this happened, that happened, you're going to be perfect. And you're going to get that dream job, that dream career. This is the one thing that I taught those guys. I've been teaching for the last 40 years. It's the law of averages. It can work for you. It can work for anybody. For the first time in 40 years, George and I are going to take our leadership program, our entrepreneur program, to the general public. We're going to do some seminars this year. If you're interested, have a look in your brochure. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Okay, so we're going to go right to questions because Jeff likes to talk. You got some questions for Jeff? Who's here in sales? I want to see everybody's hand up. Who here is in sales? Senhor Presidente, você está em vendas também. Se não sabe vender, não vem ninguém lá aos encontros, não é? Okay, we're all in sales. Sales, if there's nothing being sold, how do we make our money? Somebody has to sell it. If I work in a warehouse, someone has to sell so that I can have a job to be working in the warehouse, right? Right? So there's something about Portugal that look at sales like, oh my God, pobrezinho, não pode fazer outra coisa na vida, só está em vendas. E eu digo-vos, digam-me ou apresentem-me alguém que não esteja em vendas e eu dou-te 100 euros por 50 euros. Ok? No outro dia fui ao dentista e o dentista disse, Jorge, eu vou-lhe oferecer uma escova elétrica se você me trouxer 5 amigos que venham aqui fazer uma limpeza? Eu disse, opa, o senhor dentista está a aprender vendas, hein? Com referências. Portanto, quanto mais pessoas ele tem, mais ele pode crescer. Right, Jeff?
Yep.
So let's get some questions. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. So if a lot of people put their business up. Tem algumas pessoas ali com a mão no ar para as perguntas. A lot of people have businesses here. To me, business number one: how do I increase my sales? How do I minimize my expenses? And how do I build a team that is well compensated and that's happy with what they're doing? So how do we recruit good people? In any industry, not just in sales. How do we recruit good people?
Well, you have to figure out the media you're going to use. I think most people are using social media today. And you have to become an expert at that part of your business. If that's the biggest problem you're having is recruiting people, and a lot of companies are having that problem right now, then you got to exhaust all your possibilities of figuring out the best way to do that. Now, I'm not a social media expert, but there are people probably in this room and people out there that you can reach out to. Because if you can't get the people in the door for the interview, you're not going to hire good people.
Who's having trouble recruiting people? Okay, I know some people here, and they're working in the supermarket industry, and they say they're having people come in for a week and they leave. I know people in the restaurant, the hotel business, they come in for a week and they leave. How do we make people stay? Not make them stay, but how do we create more value that they want to stay and build a career with us? Is that a good question?
You know, there's a company in Canada, United States called Costco. And they're in well, it's almost like a supermarket. They have cash registers, and then most of their employees are stocking shelves or are doing cash register, and they have some of the highest retention in the industry.
Why?
And I think it's 2 reasons. They pay above average, and they have a great atmosphere, and I think that's what you can work on. I mean, what's the information about your company? Is it a good place to work? Is it a fun place to work? What are you giving to the employees that is making it a place they want to stay? And that doesn't have to be money. That can be a routine in the morning where there's a morning meeting and information's given out. You're helping people learn on a daily basis.
Is for employees the most important thing the money they get?
No, it's the atmosphere of the business.
Responsibility,
growth. Atmosphere. Is it a fun place to work? Is it a growing place to work? Are people helping you hit your goals? Or is it a dictatorship? And I think the places that make it more of a team effort, teamwork, you're gonna get better results.
Well, something that happens here in Portugal that didn't happen in Canada or the United States where we worked is if I have an employee or a partner that's not doing well or is not coming in on time, I can fire them. Right there, boom, fire them. So in Portugal, they say, well, you can't just fire people because you got to protect the employee. But we're not looking to fire people. We're looking to pay them more. If I got a secretary that's really good and does a great job, I'm going to pay her more because I don't want to lose her to somebody else, right? And if she doesn't do a good job, I have to keep her. Anybody have those problems? Okay, so I think we have to develop a really good opportunity for people to be able to grow and then give the money to Barbara. There you go. Do we have questions? Yes, please stand up, and if you don't have a microphone, just yell. Mr. B, JB. Remember, it's the whiskey.
Hi, Jeff. My name is Inês. I'm the founder of a shoe business. So I made my first sale last year, just for me. So my main doubt is regarding, most people say when you do sales, you have to be super excited, you have to have the winning attitude and all of that. But at the same time, I was getting advice last year from another person telling me, look, if you want to make a sale, you kind of have to pretend you're not interested, almost like, a little bit like the initial flirting in a dating, you really like the guy, but you're trying to pretend you don't really like him, so that, so that's the advice I got.
Do girls do that?
They do. Girls do that. They pretend they like you.
Well, I don't know how to do that game so well, because I'm quite authentic and genuine in the way I behave. So just to sum up, like, should I be super excited and super pushy as I normally am? Or should I kind of make that game where I avoid to show that I'm super interested and that they're really critical for my sales? And
What type of sale is it?
Sorry?
What type of sale is it? Are you selling wholesale?
Wholesale, yeah.
Wholesale?
Well, I sell online, but that's the ads that take care of that. So I'm talking on wholesale.
So when you get a sales meeting, you're selling wholesale to a retailer? Mm-hmm. And you got to get that person to carry your shoes?
Yeah, well, I want them to buy as many shoes as possible, yeah.
Okay. And what do you think your strongest attribute is in that sales presentation?
Well, usually the way I see it is the connection I create with people. I mean, of course, the product has to be good, and we're into contemporary design, and we're quite differentiated. We just got into Fred Siegel in Sunset Boulevard in LA, so that's a good point for us.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, the product, we're quite a playful, colorful brand. We play into the handmade in Portugal, and usually the sales I've been making has all come from kind of serendipity. I don't know if that's the right word. Like, sometimes I have these really set up meetings, and then it doesn't happen anything. And all of a sudden, I'm in a coffee, or I meet like the vice presidents of these really big companies somewhere else. So I've even started wondering if all those 100 or more calls that I had set up, if they're really good, or if I just might, randomly find.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so first, do you understand that you have a sales funnel, and that you have to bring people through your funnel for the close? And have you identified all the steps to your sales funnel?
Well, I have a big list
Yes.
of people I have to call. Okay,
so what I'm talking about is, the first part of your funnel would be your advertising. How are you bringing people to know your name? The second part would be contacting them and getting the meeting. And then once you have the meeting, is it always a sale right away, or is there a 2 or 3 step process? So what you have to do is work through the best case scenario. What's the best funnel for your business? Once you identify that funnel, just like they gave me the 5 steps, it's a very simplistic sale. But I've also taught very complex sales. But you always have to do the sales funnel and identify your steps. Now, what I like about what you said is you're connecting with the people. Don't underestimate this. This is the most important part of your sales pitch. You've got to win that person over as a person, as a human being. And then you've got to bring value to what you're offering. So if they like you, if you're connecting, if they're not looking at you as a pushy salesperson because you're being yourself and you're getting a connection there, then it's all about value. If I carry your shoes, what does that value bring to my company? And you know the highlights of your product. It's not just a beautiful product, it's going to up the image of their store. There's many, many things that go in to bringing up making that value so intense for that person looking at your shoe line that they can't say no. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
One more question? Yes.
Hi, Jeff. I José Luis. In Spanish, please.
Say it to George and he'll translate.
¿Cómo poder hablar delante de tantas personas de manera tan natural y sin ponerse nervioso ni nada, sin condicionar el tono, ni la manera de hablar, ni tener que hablar de manera perfecta? ¿Cómo no condicionar eso y hablar de manera natural?
Okay, how are you able to be so natural speaking in public in front of people that you don't know and be happy?
Okay, when I take this jacket off, there's going to be a lot of water underneath that. No, people say 10,000 hours to get good at something, I ran a sales meeting every morning for 40 years. And so did George. And that's how you get good. You just got to do it over and over and over again, and also prepare. You know, what I love to do now is listen to podcasts. I love podcasts. There's everything under the sun that you want to know about on podcasts, and you can take this information and help put your topics together, your meetings together.
Okay, I got a question for Jeff, and then we got to go. Jeff was retired, playing golf.
Very badly.
We all want to be successful, you know, work with Barbara, make enough money so we can do what we like to do. So that's what he was doing. 3 years playing golf every single day. I said, what are you doing? You don't look happy. You look older.
My ball's in the trees.
The ball's in the trees. I'm in Portugal. Portugal's the best country in the world. We have young people that want to build and run their own business. Come help me. Come work with me. Please tell me what's it like to be retired playing golf every day for 3 years? And why did you leave that, and why did you accept that? Because a lot of people want to retire and do nothing.
Golf was more painful than trying to learn sales. Because I couldn't figure out the steps to get good. You know, I looked back on my career, and I've done well financially. I've made some money. But the most fun was the journey. It was coming into the office every day and having a new product to market, a new project, and we had to figure it out from scratch. And we had to get a team together, and we all had to put our heads together and figure out the sales funnel, and figure out how to market it, and figure out how to hire guys, how to get the team together. And I look back at that, and sure, when the project all came together and we split up the money, that was good too. But when I look back at it, that's what I missed the most. I missed the journey. I missed the project.
So are you going to go back and retire and do nothing?
No, I'm hanging out with you.
Thank you very much. Just for Jeff Brant. Nice.
Good.
Nice. Oh, Jeff, we got a prize for you.